Come on, bitch, let's go. Come on, get ready, bitches. You haven't seen nothing yet. Come on.
Valentino, Versace, Lamborghini, Bugatti. I got money to burn. I'm single and I'm naughty.
Come on.
Tiffany's, Cartier, Gucci on Marty.
Come on.
Break out your black card, boys. It's time to party. Hi, Freddie.
Can you hear me now?
I can. How are you, Cookie?
I am well, thank you. How are you?
Oh my God. Good, but there's been so much happening.
Oh, there really has.
It's so hard to keep up. I'm actually in Belfast right now.
Are you? I've got family in Belfast.
Oh my God, I love it. Well, I'll drive by their house and scream, Freddie loves you.
uh,
Oh my God. But no, it's really fun. I'm only here for a few days and then I'm going to go to Ireland for a little bit and then I'm heading off to Italy for like a few weeks. So I'm really excited.
oh, lovely.
Yeah, John wants to do the Roman like tourism. Like we're gonna like go to special Roman places.
I went to Rome a few years ago as a family like long weekend, and it was really good. And because he loves his history, there's so much to see. So yeah, you'll definitely have a great time doing that for sure.
Well, I have to tell you, I mean, okay, so first of all, I really want to know what you want to start with because we talked about doing Real Housewives of Miami, Real Housewives of London, Ladies of London, the drama with the Beckhams and Royal Gossip. So there's so much to cover. I'm like, holy crap.
I mean, drama with the Beckham. For me, I could really do a lot on that one just because I've spoken to so many different sources, whether that's friends of Brooklyn's who went to Hampstead Arts College in London with him, whether that's like people that have like worked with them business wise and stuff like that, like club promoters he knows. So like I've spoken to a lot of different sources on this to get like a varied opinion on this. And I've
Yeah.
spoken to a couple of people that know David and Victoria to get like a very fair linear perspective.
I would love to know because you know, big news just dropped as we're recording, which is all of the press is saying that Nicola's dad, you know, the billionaire, what's his name? Nelson, I think,
No,
Peltz.
Nelson Peltz. Yeah,
Yeah.
so one of my friends who I was at school with, so his mum and stepdad live in Palm Beach and they know Nelson and Claudia Peltz. So I've heard a bit about like their perspective.
Oh, I want to hear it because they just dropped, and I think he had to have been the one to drop it,
To,
honestly.
to say that the Beckhams were cheap, basically, I think Nelson's been briefing the press that he's been implying the Beckhams are cheapskates and didn't contribute to this $10.5 million Hollywood Hills house that is now Nicola Brooklyn's property.
Yes. And he's the trust manager over her trust, which bought that property for the couple mainly. And I guess Brooklyn only has a minority share in it because he put some of his own working income of it, but it doesn't even sound like his parents gave much towards the house at all.
We've got to get into that because I managed to get an answer about this today.
Oh my God. Oh my God. So, Hercules, Hercules.
Hercules.
Okay. I love it. And I want to hear your thoughts too about the allegations that the Peltz family is using the prenuptial agreement with Brooklyn to allegedly trap him, which supposedly the Beckhams are saying.
Well, that is true, and
Ooh,
my understanding is this is the big falling out. So yeah, no, well, we'll get into it, but my understanding is it's not the Romeo Beckham and the ex-girlfriend stuff, which is what I think Brooklyn and Nicola want to imply is the reason, but it is the whole trust of of things and entrapping Brooklyn.
So what does this mean in trapping? Like she's a hot model worth billions. Like how is that? Trap me any day, right?
But I mean, I think the thing is that the way she benefits out of it is she's desperate to be an A-Wood Hollywood actress, model. She wants to be A-list Hollywood, but's not been getting there. You know, she dated Anwar Hadid for a couple of years, as you probably know. And, you know, she thought, well, and then she sort of met Brooklyn at the time she was dating Anwar, and Brooklyn was dating someone else at Coachella. Like nothing happened there. There was like no cheating or anything. But then they ended up sort of like meeting again in LA. And that was basically what cemented their relationship. And they were just like tight knit ever since.
Keep going.
So yeah, I think the Beckhams. What I think with the Beckhams is that they were like so pro. They felt Brooklyn was a bit of a fuckboy, if you see what I'm saying.
Okay.
They basically were very worried that he'd go down like sort of like a rich kid's like fuckboy path of like doing drugs and alcohol. So when he started dating Nicola, they thought, oh, this is great. You know, he's dating someone who's, you know, whose parents are some of the richest people in America. They're respected in business, and they felt that Brooklyn had really landed on his feet. And in all honesty, when Nicola was just the girlfriend, David and Victoria Beckham got on with Nicola very well. You know, the shift happened once the engagement happened. And
Yeah, and this was the wedding dress and all this stuff, right? You know, the arguments about like she was originally going to get her a wedding dress and then she kind of dropped the ball. So Nicola went in her own direction. But then maybe Victoria felt a little slighted in that because she,
so what I heard was that there was a discussion that it was a possibility, but you know, Nicola had never 100% committed to this was definitely what she was going to do. I
okay.
think Nicola's someone that she likes prestige, she likes labels, so she never felt Victoria Beckham's company was ever going to be quite prestige enough for what she wanted. And she was very much after having sort of the wedding of the year. She wanted all of these, you know, A-listers. And, you know, whilst they had like a few big notable names, you know, they invited people like Lewis Hamilton. They even invited William and Kate. They declined, as I think they felt that that would be a bit unprofessional, them, you know, attending a wedding like that.
Yeah.
And yeah, they didn't invite Harry and Meghan, interestingly. And I think the reason was the rift was there, and Kate and William are the more liked royals, so they wanted people that were popular within the public eye.
Well, plus down the line, you know, David Beckham gets knighted, which just happened this week. So he probably was like, we don't want to piss off the royal family if that's in the pipe. And he probably felt like it might be.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that was very interesting as well, is how Brooklyn did not congratulate David. He didn't make any post, any reference to the fact that he'd got this knighthood. And anyone who knows anything, anyone who follows any type of media knows how desperate David was to get a knighthood. I mean, there was a leaked email when he found out a couple of years ago that he'd failed to get a knighthood because of, you know, he'd done all this work with UNICEF and everything. And he was like, you know, that he said they're a bunch of ungrateful, see you next Tuesdays. Why the F should I have to give my own effing money and all of this type of stuff? So he's really had to work hard to claw favor back, I guess.
Yeah.
Um, and he somehow managed to pull it off. But yeah, I think a lot of people thought with the Beckhams, because they seek a lot of media publicity and stuff like that, that potentially they were faking it and they were acting up on it. But it is very real, what is happening here. And my understanding with Romeo and the girlfriend Kim, the Beckham sort of initiated potentially the breakup because they were worried with the feud escalating and it hadn't been confirmed that he was definitely going to get the knighthood. They were like, it's pretty certain, you're like 90% certain, but it wasn't guaranteed. And they thought, well, with this feud escalating, we need to get rid of these issues. But the truth with this Kim Turnbull is that she never dated Brooklyn. That, you know, they'd never even kissed or anything, because at the time Brooklyn was friends with Kim, she was dating Rocco Ritchie, the son of Madonna and Guy Ritchie.
Yeah.
And that's how they knew each other, and that's how the friendship was. But they never dated. And I know Brooklyn was not happy about that, and that him and Nicola felt that Kim was sort of social climbing and trying to get into a sort of a certain A-list type circle. But yeah, they were definitely were not dating at all.
Oh my gosh. So do you think Kim actually was the one who saw that as an opportunity and like really pursued Romeo and then maybe leaked it to the press that she was with Romeo and kind of played it up? Or I mean, why this ruse with Kim Turnbull when it was really, I guess, the lack of financial support that Brooklyn was feeling from his family, and he's looking at the Peltzes and going, you know, as you saw me, I did a story about this where I really felt it was the Beckhams versus the Peltzes, you know, like it wasn't.
Yeah, no, it's definitely them. I think the thing with the Beckhams is that they very much have this type of belief, is that it's sort of like a law in their family that their children, they must have girlfriends. They don't want them to be single because they worry if they're single, they're going out clubbing, they're being pictured in potentially quite compromising situations. So they want them to be settled down. And I think they feel that, you know, when there are girlfriends that are wanting something, that they have control over that girl. They can be like, well, you can't do this, you can't do that. But if you sort of do what we want, do as we say, we'll open these doors to modeling jobs, DJ jobs, which could have been the case for Kim Turnbull and all of that.
Is she a
So I
DJ?
think
I know nothing about Kim.
she is a DJ. Yeah, she is a DJ. I've never seen her perform in anything, but I know the Beckhams from various sources of people have said they're very much keen on making sure that their sons are in relationships, because that way they feel that they're in the driving seat of having full control of what they do. And I think that the issue with Nicola is she was basically, while she wasn't in the same celebrity status as Brooklyn, she had a lot more, you know, her family have a lot more money than them. And I think they thought she really wanted the fame, so she'll do what we want. She'll turn up to all of these events and stuff. And Decla's someone who is known as a spoilt brat. She's known as a Hollywood mean girl. And allegedly, her deeds were relieved when the relationship between Nicola and Anwar ended, because
That's
she had a
really
very
saying something because Mohammed is such a gross guy of Hollywood, we'll
yeah.
call him.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Yeah, they were relieved, was my understanding. And I think they liked, they just didn't like the way that she spoke to staff and members of their family as well, is what caused a lot of contention there. And I think the Beckhams were so focused on making sure that Brooklyn was sort of in a relationship. They thought that him dating Nicola would open a lot of doors for him. And my understanding is, in terms of his brand, of his hot sauce brand, it has, because my understanding is Nelson is the main investor of that company.
Oh,
And my other understanding is that Nelson, with his food experience, having been on the board of Wendy's, introduced Brooklyn to the manufacturer of the hot sauce brand.
oh my gosh. So that's the trap, right? He not
That's the
only
trap.
owns his house, like Nelson, in a sense, right, through his daughter's trust, owns Brooklyn's mansion in LA, which he can't have himself, apparently, because the parents aren't doing that for him at that level, at the 11 million, level, right? He owns his future in business and what he wants to do, and he respects Nelson potentially more than his own parents because Nelson is a billionaire with a B, and
And
his parents are only worth a few hundred million, and they do it
yeah.
through celebrity, not business.
And whilst money is the big part, the big bit is that Nelson has made his money in the food space.
Yeah.
Brooklyn being this aspiring chef, being this person with this hot sauce business, Nelson can open more windows for that than David and Victoria Beckham can. Is the truth of the situation.
So he definitely owns him at this point. Any idea or any gossip around the prenup he had to sign? What was it like? You come in, what you read?
Well, my understanding from what I've been told is that both Nicola's parents, Nelson and Claudia, and David and Victoria Beckham, Brooklyn's parents, were all insistent that they must have a prenup. So there was always going to be a prenup, even if they were great now. But I think it was that both keep their assets. And I would suspect if they divorced now, or whenever in the future, if that did happen, they would probably sell the mansion. Brooklyn would get whatever he put in, and Nicola would get whatever her trust fund put in, which to me, I've heard is about 80% of the value. And the Beckhams, they didn't refuse to contribute, not because they don't have the money. I
No,
mean,
I mean two or 3 million is nothing to them.
look, at the end of 2024, they spent just over $72 million on a waterfront property on North Bay Road. So that's not their issue. I think their attitude was that he's not socializing with the family and that they don't want him in more business than he needs to be with them.
So, what do you think really caused the breakdown between him and David and Victoria? It's definitely focused on the dad, right? It's David Beckham is the focal point because he didn't wish him a happy birthday, even.
The
Or
issue
happy
is,
Father's Day, he didn't. He didn't go to the birthday. He didn't wish him happy Father's Day. And now you just said he snubbed him again.
for the night, yeah. So he didn't celebrate David getting his knighthood, which everyone knows David has been desperate to get a knighthood.
I love the desperate, like, wow.
No, he was desperate. It's like it's a
Thirsty,
known
really
thing.
thirsty.
He was really thirsty for one, and this is why
By the way,
David
2 seconds
Beckham.
after he got that knighthood, Freddie, I swear, everywhere online it was Sir. Like it took, like literally, they were like, "Here it is." He walked out the door. He made a call to his press agent, and it was Sir David Beckham everywhere.
David Beckham was he look, why do you think he was sucking up to Prince William and Catherine so much? Why do you think he was getting so close to King Charles? Why do you think he was doing so much work doing the air ambulance with Prince William? Well, and for those people that don't know, Prince William's so passionate about the air ambulance because he was a helicopter pilot for the air ambulance.
Yeah.
So David Beckham knew exactly where William's heartstrings lied in terms of that charity. And David Beckham was sort of that celebrity face of promoting, people to donate to the air ambulance charity.
Well, he didn't even wait 5 minutes to have it, be updated on the internet. Let's just say that.
He didn't. But I would say the reason that they're all falling out is that the Beckhams and the Peltzes are both couples that are used to being in the driving seat. They're both used to being in control and being the dominant couple. Now, with the Beckhams, they're not really friends with billionaires. They're friends with very much A-list people, not sort of successful, billionaire American business people. And I think, both are used to being in control, and both weren't happy when each side was wanting to be the dominant one, wanting to have the control.
It is rough around the edges. He's really,
David is, yeah. And I think they see David and Victoria Beckham as a bit tacky.
yeah,
They are not
me too.
the types of people they respect.
They're not Palm Beach vibe either, which is
The
very
Peltzes
hoity-toity.
are very sort of American, old money, Palm Beach vibes. And the Beckhams, they consider as very new money, Miami vibes, if you see what I'm saying. They see them as lower level.
Yeah, for sure.
They literally, if they had to take Drew Sidora's tagline, I'm always on upper level, everyone else is in the basement, they would see themselves as the upper level and the Beckhams in the basement.
Wow, good job bringing that in. Nice. Nice transition. Well, all right. Now let's talk some royal gossip since we brought up, Princess Catherine. She, of course, didn't go to Royal Ascot, and everyone was, concerned about her health because we've had her disappear before and it was frightening. So, did you hear anything as to, besides the fact, that she's kind of taking it slow to re-enter, why she suddenly dropped out of Royal Ascot, but Prince William went and Queen Consort Camilla and King Charles went?
Well, the difference is that I think King Charles is following in his mother's legacy, in that she went to Royal Ascot every single day of the week. But that was because Queen Elizabeth was incredibly passionate about horses, when she wasn't working, when she was spending her holidays in Balmoral or Sandringham, it was riding and tending to her horses because that was her true love. I think Charles seems to be coming every day. I think with William and Kate, they don't tend to come. So you've got to remember that Royal Ascot is from Tuesday to Saturday. So my thing with Catherine would be that...
For the full scoop, join the Dishing Drama Dana Patreon. The link is in this audio description. It's only $6 a month and you'll get the best information and tea about the things you care about and even the things you don't know you care about. What are you waiting for?